It happens every year around this time. The September spike, which is a huge increase in the number of severe asthma cases in children. And our health specialist, Leah Sarich, with what causes the spike and what parents can do to protect their kids.
Yeah, it's really important for parents to pay attention to this. So as you mentioned, the September spike occurs every year during the third week of the month, and it peaks right around the 18th, so in about 2 or 3 days from now. So it's an increase in the number of severe asthma cases coming into emergency rooms or doctor's offices. I spoke with Dr. Mary Noseworthy. She explains why.
What happens in September every year, classically around the start of flu season, when kids are back in school, sharing drinks in enclosed environments, more crowded, allergies in the classroom are predominant, dust, mold, danders from animals on their friends. Mostly the common cold is the primary trigger, however.
Yeah, it's usually that common cold and all that exposure that happens when these kids go back to school. So Dr. Noseworthy says all children with asthma should start their puffers today if they haven't already. So sometimes what happens over the summer is some of these kids can take a break from their medications, their controller medications. But if they've taken that break, they need to be back on them. Ideally, right around the end of August, if not by now. So certainly get back on those controller medicines right about now, because it's about preventing these severe cases and preventing illness in others as well. Because Dr. Noseworthy was telling me that they see a spike in these cases right about now, but then about 2 weeks from now, then they see a spike in adults, and then they see a spike in the really little kids that haven't gone to school. So that's the younger siblings of the children that have gone back to school. So we're trying to prevent illness in the entire population here. So in fact, these cases are the most preventable reason for an emergency room visit at this time of year. So let's keep that in mind. So families with an asthmatic child, they really need to be prepared.
Know your child's triggers. Avoid them. So things like the common cold, good hand washing, making sure that you're taking your medications that have been prescribed to you by your physician. Check your devices, make sure that they're not expired, check that there's plenty in there, and there's a few basic things that how you can ensure that it's going to be an effective administration. So know your device technique, follow your action plan.
And that action plan, you're seeing it here, that is one of the best tools to help prevent one of these severe asthma attacks. In fact, a lot of the families that I've spoken to, they said, you know, prior to having their own personalized action plan, they really felt out of control and really, really scared when their child had one of these severe asthma attacks. So often what they would do is they would just head for the emergency department. And I can understand that. As a mom, I understand that when you see your child having difficulty breathing, that's really scary. But what happens now when they have these action plans, you know, you get this little card, you put it up on the fridge, it's an individualized plan for you and your child, so you know what to do. So you can see the steps. Oh look, I can see what my child's doing. Oh look, I know what to do now. And then you can go through the steps that are going to work for your child, and you know that, so it gives you that sense of control. So really follow your action plan. That's a really good thing to do. And most children with asthma will have one. So it's again that personalized plan so that you know what to do when your asthma is triggered in your child. So remember that a child's airway is only about the size of their little finger. So you can look at our finger and think, oh, okay, that's not too bad, but think of how little a little child's finger is. Right. So it's really easy for that airway to get tight and blocked very, very quickly. So just remember that that happens fast.
Okay, and in terms of emergency room visits, when is it time that can be scary for parents?
That's right. Okay, so maybe you've done everything and you've followed your action plan. Let's just go over, though, when it's really time to just drop everything and head to the ER. So things to watch for: nasal flaring. So if their child's nostrils are going in and out quickly, time to go to the ER. If they've got what's called a tracheal tug, so you'll see that right here. That's when it's really pulling in right there, and your child's pulling in. They know they're really working hard to breathe. The other one to look for is in their chest. So if they're doing a quick in-draw of oxygen right, and you can see it right in between their ribs, that's when you know they're really, really working hard, and it's time to go to the ER. So definitely any prolonged difficulty breathing, head right to the ER. But we're trying to not get to that place. We're trying to prevent that in the first place.
Okay, and more information on your blog.
On my blog as usual.
Always, breakfasttelevision.ca. Mike Yanni is hanging